I want you to imagine something with me for a moment. Something very simple, yet very strange. Imagine that every desire you have ever felt, every longing, every ache, every frustration was not a mistake, not a misdirection, not some embarrassing evidence of human weakness, but a clue, a signpost, a compass needle pointing toward the very essence of who you truly are. Most people live their entire lives believing the opposite. They think desire is something suspicious, something to suppress, fight, or bargain with. They are taught that wanting is the root of suffering, that craving is a flaw in the system, that peace comes only when the heart stops reaching. But what if that isn't true? What if desire is not the villain, but the guide? What if the universe has only ever been saying one thing to you, and that thing is simply this: you always get what you want, but you must understand what you truly want. And so here we are, you and I, drifting in this great mysterious experience we call life, trying to make sense of why some things come to us effortlessly while others stay locked away as if behind an impenetrable wall. People ask me, why do I get what I don't want? Why do I keep manifesting struggle, stress, or disappointment? If the universe gives us what we want, why do I get the opposite? And I always smile, because the answer is hidden in the question itself. You see, most people don't realize what they are actually wanting. They believe they want success, yet they spend every day immersed in the feeling of fear that they'll fail. They think they want love, yet their entire emotional vocabulary is shaped by the expectation of rejection. They say they want abundance, yet their internal conversation is dominated by lack, insecurity, and the anxious scanning of what's missing. This is the strange and ironic joke of the cosmos. You don't manifest what you say you want. You manifest what you are. You are like a tuning fork, vibrating its own frequency into existence. You attract not your words, but your state of being, not your thoughts alone, but the emotional atmosphere in which those thoughts swim. And so, in this great dream, this divine game, you always get what you want, but the want that the universe responds to is much deeper than conscious intention. You must understand this if you wish to move through life as a creator rather than a victim of circumstance. I often tell people the universe is not listening to your lips, it is listening to your nerves. It is listening to the tension in your belly, the rhythm of your breath, the electromagnetic hum of your heart. It responds to what you know, not what you hope. It responds to your inner posture, your inner decision, your emotional certainty. And so the question becomes, what am I truly wanting beneath the surface? What have I rehearsed so deeply, so repeatedly, that it has become my actual request to the universe? Because that is the thing that is always being granted. Let me take you deeper. When you say, I want a peaceful life, but your daily emotional state is one of overwhelm, resentment, and internal conflict, the universe hears only the emotional reality, not the verbal wish. When you say, I want love, but inside you feel unworthy or terrified of intimacy, the universe hears the vibration of fear and protects you from the vulnerability you secretly dread. When you say, I want abundance, but your subconscious is still gripping tightly onto scarcity, the universe responds not with cruelty, but with consistency. It gives you the experience that matches the frequency you live in. And so the great spiritual task is not to manipulate the universe or to recite affirmations until your lips go numb. The task is to understand yourself, to see clearly what you have been asking for emotionally, not verbally, to become intimate with the deeper layers of your own being. Because once you see this, once you truly see the emotional patterns you have been repeating for years, everything changes. You no longer feel betrayed by life. You no longer feel cursed or unlucky or condemned by forces outside your control. You begin to recognize that you have always been participating in the shape of your experience. You have always been co-authoring the story you were living. And then something beautiful happens. You awaken to your power. I often describe life as a great cosmic mirror, not a moral mirror, not a mirror that judges you, but an energetic mirror. It reflects what you are broadcasting, quietly, continuously, even when your conscious mind is preoccupied with distractions. And the mirror is perfectly neutral. It does not argue with you. It does not decide what you deserve. It simply reflects your inner world outward into form, circumstance, and symbolic experience. This is why two people in the same situation can live completely different emotional realities. One person sees opportunity, the other sees threat. One person meets kindness, the other meets hostility. One person is surrounded by possibility, the other by closed doors. The world is not doing this to you. You are doing this to the world. And the world is reflecting it back with astonishing accuracy. Now, I understand this might sound frustrating at first, because it suggests responsibility. But I promise you, once you recognize the truth, it becomes the most liberating realization you will ever have. Because it means that your life is not random. It is not chaotic. It is not subject to the unpredictable whims of fate. It means you can change everything by changing the one thing that actually matters, your inner state. This, you see, is the heart of the teaching. Not that you should try harder to manifest something, but that you should become aware of the emotional signature you carry through the world. Because you are always manifesting. Even now. Even in doubt. Even in fear. Even in longing. Which means you are far more powerful than you realize. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine you are holding a magnet in your hand. And imagine the world around you is made of countless tiny metal shavings, experiences, people, opportunities, all swirling around, waiting to organize themselves around your magnetic field. If your magnet is shaped by fear, the shavings arrange themselves into fearful patterns. If your magnet is shaped by resentment, your experiences form themselves into echoes of that same bitterness. But if your magnet is shaped by peace, by trust, by a quiet knowing that life supports you, then the world reorganizes itself in ways that reflect that trust. This is not superstition. This is not magical thinking. This is a fundamental law of consciousness. Everything in your life is responding to the tone of your being. This is the meaning behind the ancient saying, as within, so without. It is not poetry. It is physics of the soul. Now let us return to the central idea. You always get what you want. To understand this deeply, you must redefine want. Most people think desire is simply the conscious wish for something, more money, a partner, better health, more peace. But the true want is the emotional investment beneath the surface. The universe responds to the emotional charge, to the sensation, to the identity you inhabit as you move through your day. If you identify as someone who is always waiting for life to improve, you attract more waiting. If you identify as someone who must struggle for everything, you attract more struggle. If you identify as someone perpetually uncertain, you attract experiences that keep you uncertain. Your identity itself is a request. And life, being neutral and precise, grants that request unfailingly. This is why inner work is the ultimate creative act. This is why meditation, self-awareness, and emotional coherence matter. Not because they are spiritual practices, but because they transform the energetic signal you broadcast. They shift the internal want from fear to trust, from scarcity to abundance, from separation to unity. And trust me, once the internal signal changes, the external world must follow. You cannot broadcast the frequency of certainty and continue to manifest chaos.